Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Thomas Yarema.
Wow. Or as my son Avalon would say, Daddy, wow! Thanks, Dan. Thank you very much. Isn't that story unbelievable? Unbelievable. A young man, right at the beginning of this incredible spark of life in his 20s, suddenly with an undiagnosable condition, with the bones and the ligaments and the tendons of a 70 or 80-year-old, seeking medical assistance from the best bastions of medicine in New York City, getting carved upon by the surgeons, and in a wheelchair. And he leaves that behind to run away to some deserted island in the middle of the Pacific. And by using diet and some lifestyle alterations and some stress reduction techniques like meditation and yoga, and the guy goes dancing off the stage today. This is unbelievable. So it's no wonder that that individual goes back to his source and says, I want to learn what's going on here, and I want to spread this to a wider audience. That's what he said to me. And I said, well, bring me your resume and stand in line. And as I looked through his resume, I said, okay, I want you to write a guidebook for personal health improvement camouflaged as an Ayurvedic cookbook. And we went to work. And 3.5, 4 years later, Dan and I self-published this book, Eat, Taste, Heal. We'll be doing book signings later on at noontime today. But this book was a vehicle for education. It wasn't an end in itself. It was a vehicle for education so that people like Dan could take this information to a wider audience and spread it. Now, I unabashedly admit, as a physician, seeing patients in consultation, when I pull out my prescription pad, the very first thing that I write on that, Eat, Taste, Heal book, these recipes, these chapters, these specific areas, there you go. I'm very, very proud of this device as a vehicle. Now, during the writing of this book, Dan, you can tell, he's a very, very bright mind. He's a very, very precise and inquiring individual. I could not answer all the questions that he was coming up with. And the need for a more authentic source of this information became apparent. At that same point in time, our clinic in Hawaii was mushrooming with people because we were putting 100% of our patients on these programs. And I needed a clinician that could work alongside me on this project. Now, can you imagine me trying to recruit the standard American MD for this project? No. So, through a lot of hard work and through the grace of the divine, we were blessed to receive the person that I consider to be the greatest living Ayurvedic physician of his generation out of India, Dr. Suhas Kashir Sagar, and the value added of his wife physician, Dr. Manisha. Thank you, Dr. Manisha. So getting a physician to fill this role is not just do they know certain things, but will they actually do things such as prescribe the sap of a banana stalk for a patient that has a stomach ulcer? Can I give them a patient that's failing their asthmatic inhalers and is being threatened by not being able to breathe and say, I want you to teach this person breathing techniques and meditation. This is the primary therapy for this person to save their life. Can we create together practical, affordable, home-based and office-based treatments to reverse chronic diseases like coronary artery disease, diabetes, arthritis, autoimmune conditions such as lupus? And then can we do something where we can teach this to a whole lot of people all around the world? That's the person I was looking for. And that's the person we were blessed to receive. So between Dr. Suhas and his wife and Dan and myself, I say the stars were starting to align for something very, very big. After a short while of operating together, a couple of patients that were tourists came through. About 1/3 of the population of our patient base was tourists, being on Kauai. And this was a couple named Bill and Shelley. And we took care of them like we take care of all of our patients. And they returned a second time, and they returned a third time. And then about the third visit, I believe it was, Bill Farley posed the question. You've heard both he and Dan talk about that. If you could just give one thing to your grandmother or to your infant child or to your wife or to your cousin who's a sports jock every day for the rest of their life to improve their health, what would it be? And so living into that question was formidable. I said, well, you're asking to invent a panacea. That's a mythical thing in medicine. Medicine is really focused on treating the individual. Panaceas are for the masses. But you know what? Actually in Ayurveda and in the traditional sciences of medicine, we have the concepts, because we do have concepts of the universal remedy. We have a concept that defines universally what is health. I didn't get those concepts in medical school, I'm embarrassed to say. But anyway, Bill went on to voice that he wanted to bring such a product to this emerging market of health and wellness throughout the world. Well, I'd been practicing nutritional medicine for a long time, and on Kauai, because of the high cost of shipping product to that place out in the center of the Earth's largest ocean, the shipping costs were typically double the wholesale cost of the product itself, and having a weak local economy, it just didn't work. So it was quite natural for us to shift our practice of nutritional medicine to the use of raw herbs that were one order of magnitude less expensive, and then eventually to food itself. Food in the islands is about 3 times what it is on the mainland. And because of the diverse cultural mix of people there at different ethnicities, and because of the different types of foods that are grown there in that tropical climate, it was quite an exciting laboratory. And it made common sense to merge what we knew in Western biochemical nutrition with the medical dietology sciences of traditional Oriental medicine and Ayurveda. And out of this emerged a new integrated science for the applied nutrition for our patients. Now, at a practical level, a liquid delivery system such as soups or broths or teas or things that were freshly juiced, they worked. They just worked. They were practical and they worked. They worked unbelievably well. I was substituting these raw herbal things instead of antibiotics from some fairly severe infections and getting better results. So doing a product for Bill that was a liquid nutritional was a snap. Let's do a high antioxidant fruit drink and let's put synergistic herbs in it.